Hey class, this week we're talking about the classical era, and it's going to be good and bad because you haven't been hearing sounds you're very accustomed to this point, like Baroque and medieval music, maybe a little bit of a stretch for your ears just being at a comfort level. That's the good news. You're going to start to hear some very familiar sounds. Major orchestras, violins, string instruments, and you don't have to focus on not being able to understand the language when it's orchestral music or instrumental. The bad part is that a lot of the time when you hear this music, it's extra musical. It's either supposed to be in the background in an elevator, or you do it to fall asleep, or you do it while you're studying almost to blot out other noises that might distract you, or you listen to it before you took the ACT because someone said it made you do better. These are extra musical reasons, and this semester we're trying to work on musical reasons. So in a lot of ways, my job gets tougher because I'm trying to focus you on hearing this music, and and I find it's kind of a stretch. So I'm going to try to give you a tool today to help you out. And it's Sonata Form. Sonata Form was everywhere, as you'll read in your text. I don't have to get into it. And last week you read that sonatas were instrumental while cantatas were sung. And this week we're going to realize that the meaning changed over the years. And this Sonata Form talks about the structure of a piece. The structure being how it's constructed, And what it is very simple. It's ABA. And that's very easy. And when you get into the nuts and bolts of it, it can get a little bit more complicated. But on a very basic level, not really. And if you can just learn this one little thing, Sonata Form, you're going to get the most mileage out of anything you get in this class, and it'll last you for the rest of your life. And it can be really engaging to listen to classical music if you know what to listen for. So we're going to look at one of the pieces that's in your listening this week on your listening journal, and that's by Mozart. It's Symphony Number 40 in G minor. And so just to get you started, G minor and major and minor symphonies get treated slightly differently in sonata form. And let's go to the book here. Hopefully I can do this without having a jarring difference. All right, here's the form in the book. So you see the three parts, the ABA, very simple. You have the exposition, the development, and the recapitulation. And what happens is it's a lot like theater or watching a play. The exposition, things are presented to you. In the development, the plot thickens, a problem happens, there's some reason to watch, right? And in the recapitulation, the problem is resolved, a conclusion is reached. So we're looking at theme 1 here, and theme 1 is going to be called the tonic key. Theme 2 is going to be the dominant key in a major symphony. So if we're in C, then theme 2 is going to be in the dominant, which is 5 up. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's G, so the dominant key will be G. Okay? And I can explain really quickly why that is. It's because it's an easy change. C major has no sharps, no flats. All white keys. All right? Now if we take G major, which is what theme 2 would have to be in, there's only one different note. That's the F sharp is added. Every other key is still white. All right? So a composer can be going crazy around on the white keys, and you don't really know, even if the G becomes the center, you don't really know you're in G until you hear an F sharp. That's the only time you can really be certain. All right? Now let's take a look at Mozart's minor symphony. Very similar, except they make an even easier change. G minor. You see how the difference of that sounding is, the scale? If it was major, it'd be this. Mistake. But it's this. Okay. And that's a minor chord. The 1, 3, 5 of that scale is a minor chord. Okay, well, why do they go to the mediant instead of the dominant? Because it's even less of a change. If you go to the mediant, that means 3. Let's count. 1, 2, 3. So we're starting on the B flat instead. There's no changes from G minor to B flat major. 0. And it's a little bit complicated here, but the only reason you hear it as happy and sad is because it's modes. This is Ionian mode. And then a minor scale would be Aeolian mode. And I am simplifying things a little bit, but that's okay. All right, let's jump into the music. You need a musical context really fast. So here's the beginning of the piece. Okay, so that was theme 1. 25 seconds long or so, and that's all the longer it lasts. And that's enough time for them to give you that first melodic idea, harmonic idea, and that was G minor. Did it feel melancholy or sad a little bit? Hopefully. Then there's a bridge. Okay, let's go back here. There's a bridge, and that leads you from theme 1 tonic key. That leads you to theme 2, the mediant key. You see? Okay, so the mediant key in minor, what they mean is in the minor symphony. It's the mediant key is actually a major chord. Remember what I showed you? G flat minor becomes B flat major without changing any notes, right? There's going to be a bridge right here in between these two. And that serves to modulate or change the key from tonic key G minor to mediant key B flat major. Okay. That was it. Then when I turned it off, it was repeating already. So that's theme 2. So these are the 2 seeds of the orchestra. You've got dee-dee-ding, 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 ding, and you've got da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Then let's go back here. I don't actually even know if you understand this, but these symbols are repeat signs. So the exposition is repeated. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes the development and recapitulation are repeated as well. Okay, let's listen to a little bit more. Let's listen to the end of the exposition. Hopefully this feels transitional, like you can hear it's ending up or leading to something. Okay, so that was, you heard a big abrupt silence, pregnant silence sometimes that it's called, and that's called a cadence, but it's also like a very big demarcation point. For you, that's something you should listen to in a lot of symphonies. You're going to hear something similar happen, especially in the classical area. Then what you just heard before I cut it off was the exposition repeated. And like I said, musicians, they're going to see these repeat signs in their music. Every note everything, dynamic markings, everything is repeated the second time through as it was in the first. Let's listen to the beginning of the development real quick. Definitely we're not going to analyze the development, and that's not really what we're going to concentrate on this class, just that you recognize it as the development. He took the beginning of theme 1, you know, he took that and he split it off from the rest of the melody, and he altered it a few times. He sequenced it down. You felt it syncing, the chords were syncing, the melody was syncing. This is the time when the composers really get to have fun messing with stuff. And I could go into all kinds of stuff. They take the melody, and when you break a melody up into small pieces like 3 notes or 5 notes or something, those are called motives. So he'll take that motive, he'll turn it upside down, he'll turn it backwards, he'll do both. Then they'll change the rhythms, they'll do all these interesting things with the harmonies. So it's actually a really clever thing to listen to when you really understand how they're operating. A really fun mental exercise, definitely. All right, so we get to the end, and let's see how this should be. This leads us back into the recapitulation then. Wait, let's look here. Okay, so we went through the development, many keys, free development, and then we're going to land back in G minor tonic key for the recapitulation. Okay, theme 1. Let's listen to the end of the development. Good. Okay. So hopefully in that you can hear how there's a lot of discordance or a lot of tension, and then suddenly ding, dee-dee-doo, dee-dee-doo, everything's back as it was at the beginning. Okay. So something to listen for, and you might get that moment during the middle of a development, and then later on, a few seconds later, you realize, nope, that was not recapitulation. So sometimes there's a little confusion there, but usually it's pretty clear cut if you know what to listen for. Okay, so we're back in theme 1 in G minor. There's a change this time though, because in the recapitulation, theme 1 is the tonic key, theme 2 is still the tonic key. If there's a bridge, it doesn't need to serve the purpose of modulating the way it did in the exposition. So the bridge has different purposes. It can be different material. Okay, let's listen to the recapitulation again. Well, no, let's go straight to theme 2 and listen to how it's different this time. Okay, so theme 2 is in a minor key now. It's in G minor instead of B flat major. Let's listen to theme 2 from the exposition. This is the major one at the beginning. Here's the theme 2 at the end in the recapitulation. Okay. Okay, good. And that's only another minute long. And then you suddenly have a cadence. You can feel that you're ending something, you're beginning something. You can feel that you're leading up to something. And that's what that cadential feeling is. The feeling of a cadence is harmonically you can start to feel a tension build that needs to be released. And that's what you want from a good composer at the end of the symphony. Let's listen to that. Okay, good. All right, and there you just heard a little snippet of the theme 1 again. However, as beautiful as this form is and was used many times over the years, what happens is it's nice to tack on a nice ending, especially if you're a Freemason. Something for you to Google. All right, so we're going to put a coda, it's called, at the end here afterwards. It's not on this chart. Coda, C-O-D-A. Let's listen to that real quick. Let's start at the beginning of the coda. There you go. Okay. And now here, this is the ending. Great. And the whole piece is a little over 8 minutes long. So, and that's not terribly long. So your assignment, your listening journal, I've given you the answers. Now I just want to know when the answers come. In your listening journal, timestamp all the sections we discussed, at least as many as is in the chart in your text for Mozart's Symphony No. 40 in G minor. If you have any problems, you can write me an email and ask me. I do have a couple tips. For instance, I used to come up with crazy lyrics for symphony melodies to help me remember them. None of which I can share in this class, ironically, but they really help you, especially if the title and the number and the key of the piece is somehow in the melody as well. Or you could use visuals. A lot of the times, a composer, especially Mozart, will have like fireworks. He'll have like a dwindling melody that rises up and then boom, it explodes like a firework. You could use visuals like that. I don't really want to hear about them, and they're only helpful for helping you memorize, and don't think that you're actually learning anything about the piece by using these mnemonic aids. One final tip I have is, and this might seem really childish, especially because I did it in purple crayon, but I used to do this when I had too much to have to remember. I would write kind of a chicken scratch of the melody, and if you just remember that shape, you should be able to remember the melody pretty well. It looks like insane scrawlings of a 3-year-old, but you know, right? And then in theme 2, you go da 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 dum 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 da da dum da 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 da. Okay, so you don't have to do that. Anything you do that works is acceptable with me. So, class, I think you're doing a great job, and we'd really love to see some concrete answers this week on the listening journal. And also, email me if you have any questions. Thanks.